Hey, I'm Veikko Miettinen. I'm from Joensuu Science Park, development manager, and my field is game technology. I'm talking about virtual forest done by game engine. I'm not going to specifically talk about VR and RR. I'm talking about like building it. What does it take to build a virtual forest? I'm talking a little bit about optimization. And with VR, the optimization means you have to optimize twice because there is two screens. What is virtual? I put this here because this is scientific and it makes me look smarter. If you want to see, like, what do I mean about virtual forest? Check, for instance, Witcher 3. It's a game. And check the gameplay trailer. Virtual forest is not physically existing as such, but made by software to appear to do so. The forest in the games are like you would actually be there. That's virtual forest. And let's go back. Know-how is in Finland, in game companies, Poland, and Czech Republic. I think the best know-how in modeling forests. Let's go to a leaf. Forest put to a game engine, the trunks and branches are not interesting. They are just polygonal objects, but leaves are interesting. Leaves are going to break it or make it. So one leaf is basically a polygonal plane, and it's having different materials, different textures. It's having base color, opacity, normal, roughness, ambient occlusion, and translucency. There are some other terms which are equal to the first term. Here, photograph of the leaf, and then modeled version. In this one you can see quite well the bumpiness of the leaf. Opacity means that, we will come to the opacity. Here, translucency. Some leaves are thicker than others, so light is penetrating through them more than the others. This is probably a good example on making leaf maps. Leaves are not made just by single leaves, but they are made by like a small branches. Here are the models, and here are the textures. This is the base color, green, normal map, bumpiness, roughness, how rough it is, and how opaque it is. And here in the game engine, this is the shader. Bumpiness map, normal color map, which is basically a photograph. Opacity map, and then, no, this one is normal map. And then here the roughness value of this leaf, I don't know what leaf it is not driven by a texture, it's driven by a value of 0.8. And when it's done right, it should look like this. The leaves are, it's pretty okay. It's not the best picture, the projector is not very good. But the leaves are giving the forest the visual look with lighting. That's why I'm talking about leaves first. Ground. Ground is height map driven, that can be taken from different kind of map services. It's a grayscale image. It's deformable and it's optimized mesh object in game engines. And ground material is pretty different from leaf material. Here's the base map taken from, I think, one of the Finnish maanmittauslaitos map services. And here you can see some color variation which comes from when the pictures are taken with airplane. And that's combined with hill shade map. And this can be used in game engine when the terrain is really far away. Height map. And these are in Finland pretty nicely available. And I think pretty nicely available in other countries too, because these you can try from different map services. Terrain is looking like this. This is really an area full of mountains and it looks really good. But this kind of map is driving that terrain object. And it's optimized so that the first parts of the terrain are drawn like with full resolution, then half resolution, then fourth resolution, and then 1/8 of the resolution, depending where the game camera is. Typical terrain material. Because the terrains are huge, the material should be tileable. So all of these textures, let's say that this is stone, other kind of stone, I don't know what is that, mud, sand, gravel, all these can be tiled so that they can be stretched over big terrains. And here you can see the height maps or normal maps of all these textures. Let's go to this one a little bit deeper. I'm giving you here some example images that we are using when we are building virtual forests that are helping us or helping the artists to define the forest. I haven't seen yet that we could have used the raw LiDAR data at all. Trees can be planted to the scene by image masks, and forest types are defined by these kind of, this is like probably Latin to all of you, but it's an actor in the game engine and a mask. Not showing very well, but these are, I don't know what is this in English, but this is like picture of the forest with wrong colors. Väärä värikuva. And this is,
Color infrared.
excuse me?
Color infrared image.
This is probably pretty old technique, as I understood. This has been used a long time, where a certain kind of green is isolated from the image, and you can see here where the where are the broadleaf forests and where are the conifer forests. This is pretty usable image. Image driven from LiDAR data, which is showing us the general height information of the forest, black being field and white being the highest part of the forest in this particular image. So big trees, small trees, I don't know, lake, field, and a field filled with big trees. And here is another area with big trees but higher ground vegetation. That's how I would interpret it. And this is probably the most usable data in the like usable kind of forest data, because these are vector fields that are defining the types of forest. I think this is pretty common in all the companies that are inventing forest data. So forest can be planted by making masks of these areas. Let's go to optimizations. I'm talking about LOD models, level of detail models. Every tree is modeled at least 3 times, probably 5. And the highest level of detail, the highest model is shown to the camera when the camera is really near to the tree. And then the different models are loaded when it's further away. Here is the forest made in Joensuu Science Park. Conifer forest, like pretty old type of forest with a lot of ground vegetation. Optimization image. Because all these virtual forests that are really 3D data has to be optimized so that they are running 60 frames per second. Then it's like smooth. You can really feel like you are walking in the forest. Otherwise it's like jacking and jacking and jacking. Green areas being good, so artists make good work with this texture, and shitty work with this texture. That's optimizing textures. Optimizing meshes. Blue being good. I wanted to show you this because this is made to walk in the forest. So the trees are made very dense in the trunk area where you are walking until where your eyes are, and then they are not so dense anymore. So when you walk really close to a tree, you can really see the shape of the tree and the material of the tree. And here in this scene, the problems were that it was having a lot of small triangles. Every surface in the 3D is defined by triangle, and these triangles were too small and they were overlapping. That's why they are red. These are LOD models visualized in game engine. So full resolution trees are here near the camera. Leaves are full resolution. And when the player is walking or moving the camera towards, for instance, this green tree, these are swapped to secondary models, and this will come the primary model with full resolution. And the blue one is like LOD number 3, probably, in this image. And then it's like optimization fun for game programmer. It's very usual that you have all the rendering statistics here, and you have to check it with this kind of profiler or with these kind of numbers or with these kind of numbers. Is it running 60 frames per second? In VR, is it running 2 times 60 frames per second? 60 frames for left eye and 60 frames for right eye. Example of what is drawn and what is not drawn in the game engine. Gray area being here like a base map, then a little bit more defined map, then a little bit shapes for the terrain, and then the individual blocks of forest. And in here you are really close to the tree, that is drawn in full resolution, and those are not. So now you know how to make virtual forest. Have a nice time. I will be here. We will be showing our virtual forest demo nearby here, and we have one forest like VR forest product with us as well. so you can see how they work out.
Thank you very much, Veikko. So now it's time for questions. Who start? The first one. I would like to
Hello, and thank you for the impressive presentation. My name is Tuomas Hirvonen. I'm from a company called 3D-talo Finland, and we're located in Kuopio. Actually, I have two questions, and the first one is, why have you chosen Unreal Engine and not Unity game engine?
It's drawing better, looks better.
Yes, the graphics definitely.
Graphic looks better, lighting is better, and it's having more versatile terrain tools.
Okay, thank you. And the second question, when you talked about optimization, it came to my mind that have you researched on rendering real-time point cloud data? VR or in Unreal Engine?
Yeah, but it's not like our piece of cake.
Okay.
Not our cup of tea. We are concentrating on like trees and models.
Okay, thank you. And also, we have a demo in the demo room as well, so please come check it out. Thank you.
Thank you. Where? Please raise your hand so that I can see. So where is the, do we have a question here?
Well, maybe I have one. So, Veikko, being a nerd and coming outside from the forest sector, so what is your opinion on these new game technologies and VR, how we can use that for making forest owners and normal people more aware of and more interested in the forest? Because I think that is one key issue, one problem. People don't know about the forest or forest and forestry at all.
Yeah, excellent question. Thing here being that I'm not an expert on that subject, but I can act like I'm an expert. You know that better, and to make it simple, it's better that you tell and I build. But we were making one like forest simulation for Finnish Metsähallitus forest, government of the forest or something like that. And we were simulating, because it was the area where, for instance, Greenpeace was really interested, like why is Metsähallitus hacking the trees down? So we were making some kind of visualization how it looks now, how it looks when it's done, and how it looks in 20 years. So that particular case was for like general discussion about the subject, because those natural subjects that are concerning nature, they are really, let's say, the discussion is pretty fiery, I would say, and it's not very factual. Also, there is a lot of people at the moment in Finland who have inherited forests. They don't know how it looks like. Maybe it would be good to show, your forest is looking like this. What if we take every second tree away? This is how the light will penetrate now to the lake where you are having your summer cottage, or blah, blah, blah.